morning, sophomore and junior eHouse students. Remember me? I'm Mr. Slattery and I'm your house dean. Last semester, we were able to connect with each other on Zoom, and it was fantastic to see all of your live faces. We couldn't meet like that this semester without disrupting your class schedule, and we certainly weren't going to do that. Like I said last semester, you just can't replace in-person interactions, and every member of the LHS staff can't wait to see you here in class in person. We're almost more than halfway through the third quarter. Progress reports came out earlier this week. I want to review and emphasize many important items we talked about last semester. I'm guessing the number one thing on your mind right now is, when are we coming back to school? Right now, it looks like all Lowell High School students will return to in-person learning after April vacation, which is April 26th. That is the latest info we have at this time, and as CDC and district guidelines change, we continue to email your families with the latest information. Are you planning to return to school? The student and family survey went out last Friday during your advisory class. Please make sure you complete and submit it. It's going to help us plan for your return. Depending on the number of students returning, it's very likely that we'll be using a cascading hybrid schedule. Remember, like we said last semester, whether you're remote, in person, or about to be in person, our expectations for all students are the same. For students returning, we continue to follow safety guidelines and behavioral expectations. So, what can you expect? Everyone must still properly wear a mask at all times, except when you're eating breakfast or lunch. Movement between classes are going to be a little different. It may be regulated to include one-way transitioning on the bridges and hallways. Students will have a 10-minute scheduled mask break each day. Lockers still cannot be in use. Students must clean their desks when entering and exiting the classroom. And every member of the school community must follow all of these safety precautions. Also, very important, you'll be using your Chromebook every day here in school, so make sure you bring it. Make sure it's charged. Bring your charger. And don't forget to bring your earbuds. Did you ever think you'd hear me say that? Bring your earbuds. Many of you have mastered remote learning technology and have been able to successfully access all of the technology supports as needed. Some students still need some guidance, reminders, and refreshers. Okay? So this is also very important. Whenever you're emailing anyone at LHS or within the LHS community for tech support, you need to use your student email. So, reminders, refreshers. What do you do if you're having trouble with class codes? Email your teacher directly. And when you do so, make sure you copy your counselor or myself on that email. With all the email going back and forth, it's always great to have more than one set of eyes seeing that email and your request. Having trouble with Aspen? Email the help desk. helpdesk@lowell.k12.ma.us. If you have a question about your schedule, email your counselor. I know you all have your counselor's email. If not, Mrs. Kroll, Mrs. Bruner, and Mrs. Ricciardi's email are on the LHS website. If you're having problems with passwords, anything Google, or a problem with your LHS Chromebook, you have three options. Use your school email to email help desk. You can call the help desk directly, 978-674-4329, or you could go to one of the tech service tents throughout the city. The tech service tent schedule and the remote learning meal service schedules are on the school website. In addition, every family receives an email with all this info as well. So let's talk attendance. Last semester, February 10th, report cards were delivered. If you had an AF or an NC at that time, I contacted you through a mass email or directly to you. I told you that for me to consider removing the AF or NC, you needed to make a marked improvement with your class attendance, daily attendance, and class participation. Many of you are working on that right now and are doing a fantastic job. All deans from every house have been very clear that during semester 2, we will not simply release AF or NC if you're over the 8 unexcused absences. If you need to miss a class due to a scheduled appointment or something came up at home, it's your responsibility to communicate with your teacher and our house clerk, Jackie Dolan, to alert them as soon as possible and ask them that if that time out of class can be excused. Communicating with your teachers is critically important. You can't just email a teacher saying you won't be in class today. We're going to need a little more of an explanation than that, and then we're going to follow up with a call home. Semester 2 started on February 3rd, and it goes to June 14th. Between this time, you may not have more than 8 unexcused absences. So this is very important. We're not just looking at the daily attendance. It's your class attendance that's getting many of you in trouble. Getting to advisory in period 1 on time is critical. Many students received an A, F, or an NC because you entered period 1 way too late or you missed it altogether. If you are tardy and you've missed advisory, this is your responsibility. You need to check into school through the virtual tardy center. The link is on the front page of the LHS website. Don't just blow it off and try to go right to class, because then your daily attendance won't be accurate and you'll run the risk of not earning credits for that class because you have too many absences. Progress reports came out earlier this week. Take a look at it. Don't like what you see? Take action now. Check your quarter 3 grades and all of your attendance to see where you stand. Make a plan. Set some goals. Think to yourself, would it help if I scheduled one-on-one meetings with a teacher, my counselor, a social worker, or even with me, Mr. Slattery? Reach out to us. We offer after-school tutoring. There's going to be credit recovery opportunities during spring vacation. Until then, submit classwork on time, use your win days appropriately, be a student who is an active participant in class, camera on, mic on, engaging, communicating with your teachers. Doing those few things consistently will ensure student success. We have progress reports for a reason, to see where you're at academically and to gauge if you may or may not need academic support. Quarter 3 ends on April 12th. If you're struggling a bit, you have time, but you need to act now. The College and Career Center is starting to share a ton of information for juniors. Join the College and Career Center Google Classes, attend, start planning. There's a ton of college and career info in there. It's just about time for period 1. Don't be late. Remember, we miss you. We are LHS Strong, and you got this. Have a great Lowell High School day.